Folks, welcome to Three Questions, sponsored by the Democrats' Washington State 18th Legislative District. I'm your host, Wil Fuentes. Folks, my guest today is Jess Durfee, who is the chair of the Democrats' 49th Legislative District here in Southwest Washington. Jess, welcome to the show. First question, tell us who you are and what you do as the chair of the 49th Legislative District for the Democrats here in the state of Washington. And let us know how you came into this role.
Well, who I am, my name is Jess Durfee. I'm chair of the 49th Legislative District Democrats. How did I come? Well, so my background was, I was a school teacher. I taught out at Prairie High School with the Battleground School District. I was very active with the Teachers Union, the WEA, Washington Education Association. Because I always enjoyed politics, they embraced my desire to be engaged in political activity. So I was very much encouraged by my union to do things.
Okay.
So among those, I took release time to be a campaign worker, an organizer. I even ended up doing a short stint as a congressional staffer for the former 3rd District Congresswoman many years ago in Washington, D.C. So that was a fun experience. Fast forward, moved to Southern California for a few years, moved back to Vancouver because this is a wonderful place to live, and I thought it would be a wonderful place to retire. So came back here to retire, but my volunteerism instinct kicked in, and we had a gap in leadership with the 49th District, and I stepped forward and said I would take the helm. So I finished out a part of a term, and then I've been elected to the current term that I'm sitting in. So that's how I got into this role, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Great. No, and you're absolutely right. Vancouver is a great place to live, and so we're happy to have you back. How long have you been in your current role? You said you were appointed to finish out the last chair's term, and then you were elected, right?
Yes. I think I started in about September of 24 as the chair, and then in December of 24 I was elected to the current 2-year term that I'm in the middle of.
Which ends at the end of this year, correct?
It will end in December when we do our next reorganization after the elections.
Well, thanks for letting us know a little bit about yourself. Question number 2. Now, what strategies is the 49th LD Democrats using to encourage voter turnout, especially in local and midterm elections, where turnout generally tends to be pretty low?
Well, we've got a number of things that we've lined up that we're going to get rolling out, and now's the time to start with all that.
Absolutely.
Because August is the primary, November is the general. It takes time to build, and so we're already into that process. One thing is I'm optimistic because of so much activism and excitement. I wouldn't even call it excitement. I would say frustration and the response to that with the current administration. And what we've seen with Indivisible and other organizations, people are more engaged and paying more attention than they have in the past. So I'm optimistic that that will translate into more voters than you would typically see in a midterm election. And in Washington, we're even more handicapped, I would say, because we don't have a U.S. Senate seat on the ballot. And obviously there's no presidential or gubernatorial race on the ballot. So the top of the ticket is the congressional race, and in many cases that's not something that drives people to the polls. However, there's a lot of news that's going to drive people to the polls.
Absolutely.
So what we're doing is we're working to identify folks and reach out to people who have indicated that they want to volunteer. We're trying to get them engaged. I'm trying to recruit more precinct committee officers, and where I can't get people to step into that role, I'm more than happy to just assign them a precinct and have them walk that precinct and talk to the voters there without necessarily being the PCO in that particular precinct. But I think there's a lot to do, and so that's one of the things, or one of the processes we're going through. And we are engaged in, we table at events, for example, March 28th for the No Kings rally.
Right, that's coming up in a month.
We've already organized and we've already decided to set up a table there to sign up people, and getting the QR codes on little cards and walking the crowd and with clipboards and trying to get more people engaged, because those are people that often aren't engaged in
Right.
politics, or certainly not in partisan politics, but they're concerned, they want to get involved, and they want to do something. So we want to be the vehicle with which they can take part in this upcoming election.
I love that. I mean, that's a really great strategy to table at the No Kings rally, where we expect a lot of people, just like we have the last couple of times, right?
Yes.
In addition, I think this is the first midterm in quite a while where I feel the Democrats are very energized, right? To your point, I think there's there's an optimism, right, that we're going to win some major seats, not just at the local level, but at the congressional level as well across this country. And so there is a lot of energy, and we got to capitalize on it.
Yes, and it's not just optimism. It's a threat.
Right.
And people are recognizing
Yeah.
the threat.
Absolutely.
That if we don't make some major changes this year, that the next 2 years will be even more miserable than the last year and a half has been with President Trump. And so I think all of those things, if we play it right, if we manage ourselves correctly, we can turn this into a very strong Democratic year, a blue wave across the country. But I want that blue wave right here in the 49th District, Vancouver, Washington.
Absolutely.
Because we've got local races on the ballot. And while people are focused on all the national stuff, those local races make a big, big difference to policies, as you well know, and address many of those issues that we're talking about at the national level. But we can change those or impact those with our locally elected officials as well. And I think that's critical. And that's part of our job, is to connect the national issues to the local issues so that we can motivate people to get out there and vote.
No, that's great. And we have a lot of great candidates at the local level, both at the city, the county, the legislative level. And so I think that we're positioned to make some gains this year.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm excited that I was coming into this year thinking, it's the 49th. We've got our 3 Democrats in the legislature. We're just going to continue with our 3 Democrats. Nothing new, nothing dramatic going on. And then we had one already announced that she's not seeking re-election, running for a different office. Might happen in another office or so. And so that's exciting for us because it's change. It also gives opportunity to new people to play their part in elected politics.
Yeah, lots of changes coming up. Thank you for that. Question number 3. What are you doing, or what's the 49th LD doing to help regular community members move from being voters to becoming more involved, whether that's volunteering, attending meetings, or potentially becoming future leaders within the party?
Very good question, and that's sort of our purpose. The 49th Legislative District Committee, that's our purpose. It's to reach out to folks, engage those folks, and get them involved. So the steps we're following is one thing we're doing. I mentioned earlier that we're doing the tabling, and we're going to be doing that at the Saturday market or farmers market at Esther Short Park throughout the summer, spring and summer, and even into the fall. That's one way to reach out to folks, and we're lucky that that's in the heart of the 49th District. But another thing is we're going to be using technology. We have a system, it's called Vote Builder, that the Democratic Party at the national level built and provides to the respective states around the country. But what that has is data on everyone who's registered to vote, and it also measures and scores people on how engaged they are, and frankly, how good of a Democrat they are. Since in this state we don't register by party, that's critical information to have. Because we can't just pull a list of Democrats. What we have to do is pull a list of people who vote democratically. And so we're using that technology, and what we're going to do is go into each of our precincts and drill down to the absolute best voting Democrats. And we're going to start reaching out to those people and asking if first thanking them for being a good voter, and then asking them, do you want to do more? would you like to help us win this next election? And when you've got people that are that committed to voting and turning out, it's not going to be a huge percent, but if we could even just get 15-20% of those super Democrats out there to engage and commit to reach out to their neighbors, whether it's 10 neighbors, 20 neighbors, or 100 neighbors, all of that will contribute to turning more people out to vote.
Right.
One of the things about the 49th district is we're the most Democratic district in Southwest Washington.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the bluest one, yeah.
south of Olympia. We're the Democratic stronghold. But at the same time, we historically are not good at turning out to vote.
Oh,
so
interesting.
our
Okay.
goal is not necessarily to win elections, because we're pretty confident we'll retain all the seats in our district for Democrats. But more importantly, we need to bump up our Democratic turnout, because that's how we win races countywide, or regionally wide, like the congressional district race. We are a key player in all of that, because if you went into the 17th or 18th, which are very much toss-up districts, and you turned out 100 people, odds are 50 of them are not voting our way and 50 are.
Right.
Well, if we turn out 100 extra people, 6 in 10 of those is going to be voting our way. So that's how we can increase our margins and have a stronger impact regionally. So that's critical, and we're going to be doing that. The other thing that we're doing is we're looking at constituency communities that are being impacted by the horrible policies in Washington, D.C., and we're going to be trying to reach into those communities to engage those folks so that they're more involved with the party and the party apparatus, because it's great if they're involved in their community, but we need to connect that involvement into the political process so that they're helping us turn out voters who will help change those policies that are happening at the national level. So I think those are the key things. I'm going to cite one example of how we've already been successful in doing some outreach. 2 years ago, we elected delegates to the state Democratic Convention, and from our district, we only had 8 people who registered to be a delegate.
Oh, wow.
Well, and we had about 25 delegate seats.
There's 25 spots.
So this year, we again had 25 delegate seats, and we ended up with 33 candidates running for those seats.
That's fantastic.
And part of that was the outreach that we decided to do early on in the process, reaching out to different communities, asking them to encourage folks to sign up that might be interested, and then just really networking amongst our friends and colleagues and so forth. So we ended up with 25 people running, which is, it's exciting to see that.
Yeah.
Today is the election day, so we'll see what we get for delegates to the state convention.
Well, congratulations. You quadrupled the number of applicants
Yes.
to become delegates. That is pretty significant. And then really quick, will you just tell our viewers geographically, where does the 49th legislative district sit on a map?
Well, the north border, for the most part, follows 78th Street through Hazeldale and across. When we get into the east of 205, it's a little confusing. It has a few big bumps.
I've seen,
And so I think you're pretty safely to about 132nd
right.
or 34th. I'm not
Even
sure.
136. I think that part of it goes up to 136.
Actually, you're right. So anything west of that is going to be in the 49th, and again, anything south of the 78th, and of course the Columbia River's the border down there.
Okay.
And as it curves and goes north, it's the border on the west as well.
Okay, so a good chunk of the city of Vancouver and parts of unincorporated Clark County, like Hazeldale. Great, awesome. Jess, thank you so much for helping us understand what the legislative district, particularly the 49th, is doing to ensure that people are engaged, that voter turnout is higher than usual, particularly for midterms elections. So great job on doing that work. We're excited. I think we're energized, and we're looking forward to a very, very positive year in Democrats winning more seats across the entire country. But thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you
for being on the show. Folks, that is our show for today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll see you next time.